another title for North America. Let's get into it though, ladies and gentlemen. It's our opening map of the final matchup of the day here. One of these teams will be moving into the playoff bracket, and the other will be coming back tomorrow to fight for survival against the winner from the other match in their group. It's NORA-RENGO up against Evil Geniuses, and we'll get into the bans now.
Evil Geniuses will have the first ban here between this match of NORA-RENGO versus Evil Geniuses here on Consulate. Blue, see you're excited. See you're very, very excited. Thermite is going to be the one banned out by Evil Geniuses. Going to take a little bit of hard destruction away from NORA-RENGO.
Obviously, this is a map that favors hard destruction pretty heavily, so it's not too out of the woodwork to see one of those two hard breachers getting banned out of the matchup there. Glaz will be the other pick, and again, that's just one of the operators that is deemed as annoying, I think is the easiest way to describe it by most people, so they'd rather not deal with it. They'll take it out of the pool. First defender ban will come in, and again, it's one that we see pretty commonly on this map. It's usually either Echo or Maestro as the first ban. Oftentimes it is both of them put together if a team wants to hamstring themselves that much by knocking both of them out of the pool. We'll see, as it's up to Evil Geniuses to make that final decision. It'll be coming up right now.
Well, earlier, we have seen so many operators from the Red Crow operation get banned out today. Specifically Echo, and actually we saw a lot of Habana this morning as well, Blue. Just not going to come here. We are going to have the Thermite, the other hard destruct, as well as Maverick. We don't see him banned too often, especially on Consulate, for instance. We see him banned quite often on Clubhouse, but not here. Going to have the Thermite banned once again. So it's going to be Thermite, Glaz, Echo, and Valkyrie. Valkyrie, definitely a household name for bans on Consulate.
And obviously, again, for those of you guys that are newer to Siege, Hard Breach is basically a capability that allows you to get through reinforced walls. That's the walls that you'll see the defenders put up at the start of every round. Now, there's only 2 dedicated Hard Breachers. Technically, there is a third one if you count Maverick, but obviously his is very limited, and it takes a little bit more skill or a little bit more of a setup to be able to take down certain walls, and most walls you can't even really do that with as you're required to get to the top of it. So he's more of kind of a half hard breacher is where I consider him in.
And we saw some very creative usage by Magnet on Fnatic earlier today. That was a crazy match, man.
But again, that relies on the ability to rappel up the wall, which you're obviously not going to have in every situation. So he's really only reliable for taking out hatches, not necessarily for breaking down walls, just because of the length of time it takes to do so, first of all. So very much limited to just the Hibana when it comes to hard breach, which means you're going to have to protect that person's life in this matchup, as if you lose it, especially depending on the site, you could find yourself having a very, very bad time with trying to get any control on this map.
10 seconds to insertion.
Now there's 2 ways to attack the upstairs for NORA-RENGO. The main one going to be admin, that is traditionally where people will take from, or you can try for a yellow take. It's going to entice you to crawl up on the windows of the west side of the building, try and hold an angle while you Habana open an angle into yellow, where the man playing yellow cannot rotate out safely. That is the traditional way to do it, but we have seen some very creative ways of taking yellow as well. We'll see what NORA-RENGO's idea is about this site in particular.
So you have NORA-RENGO out into the open now to start their push. It looks like there's going to be a large focus on yellow stairs at the beginning, and that looks like it's going to follow through even after they realize it's the second floor site, not the basement, where we commonly see this play start out. It's either here or the second floor. They've gone to the latter of those 2 options. Ramu now going to be moving in, trying to start the droning intel inside of the console office to see how exactly a push in here might be valid for his team. They still have a long way to work their way to the top of the yellow stairs, though, so they are not in the clear just yet to try such an aggressive push. They will move their way in to Mariu on the front on the Ash, but there comes the first Toxic Babe to try and hold the members of NORA-RENGO back, with Evil Geniuses manning that front to steal them away.
Looks like the main focus right now for NORA-RENGO is going to be yellow stairs as Waka to work his way up, and he's actually playing Thatcher today. Didn't see too much of that last night, more or less staying on his fragging ops, going to go to more of a flex role this time around. We've seen this a lot throughout many teams. Lots of players going to just flex and pick up as many mantles as possible. There's actually a confirm will come through onto Mariu. MBK will clean that one up. Ramu going to find one of his own onto Geo, and Necrox will be able to find Waka over on the yellow staircase. And there's just kills rattling off everywhere. Canadian going to find one of his own in the process as well. That means NORA-RENGO is going to be down 2 to 4 in man count.
NORA-RENGO not finding nearly the amount of success they were hoping for towards the yellow stairs, or just in general while trying to get access to the second floor of the building. As such, they'll pay the price for that. We do see attempt to try and work their way inside of the admin office, and that will work. It's left undefended for the most part by EG. There's been zero pressure here prior to this throughout the round, and with only a minute left, it'd be unlikely that it would still be hanging out over here, but obviously, with the noise being made by both the Hibana and Ramu, playing on the Capitao, it's going to give away their positions. And there we go. There's a nice play from Canadian. Over there on the pulse, gets an easy scan against Ramu, isolates him into a corner, knocks him out with a C4 from below, leaving it all on Raisel now in a 1 versus 4 situation.
Once again, Consulate primarily banned out by both teams, actually, which is surprising as we will head to it for Invite. Again, this could be just a matter of many strats being hidden. This initial round is on the back of Raisel for NORA-RENGO. So he will continue his way through front office. Pops a couple shots towards Flag Hallway, but nothing's really going to come to fruition. I think the main issue right there is the trades just did not go in NORA-RENGO's favor, specifically Waka on Yellow Stairs. Just nothing really coming of that, but Necrox will be able to find Raisel. Evil Geniuses will walk away with the first round.
EG a decisive first round for themselves as well, barely allowing NORA-RENGO to get really any control of the top floor at all, let alone get close to the site and find a chance to plant the diffuser. As such, it has now left Evil Geniuses in a dominant position, at least with that second floor hold. Then I'll shift it down into the basement to just continue to ring around the rotation, and this is generally what we expect. So for this map on Consulate, EG into the basement. The cafeteria garage hold is where they'll go. And again, it's a relatively straightforward operator lineup that they'll bring to the table for this one. And actually, we'll see a 6-pick used instead of using the Bandit. We will end up with Maestro in play for Young.
NORA-RENGO going to keep things relatively the same. Going to keep Waka on the Thatcher. Mario will don Ash once again. So we do head downstairs. Now, we haven't seen too much Vigil play recently. This Canadian will pick that up for himself, traditionally on the Pulse, but this time going to flex himself over to the Vigil. Let's see if he'll find any success on that. Young in his traditional spot, as you do, as the Maestro. We are going to have the mute played downstairs, which is another thing that happens quite often, just due to the fact that those signal disruptors of mutes actually have a height ceiling in which they can go through the floor and prevent drones from gaining access to multiple different areas of the map through the floor. It's a very creative use of his utility, but it works out very well, specifically on this map.
Just a roadblock for the drones that they can't even see. Certainly will be a creative use of them, be able to stop the pressure working its way in. Guys on NORA-RENGO. Here comes the initial push now. The NORA-RENGO roster. Evil Geniuses in the meanwhile. Again, it's not even looking like they're going to do a whole lot of lurking on the top floor. Nope, I take that back. We actually do have one of their players stuck away a little bit further out, and that will more than likely be Canadian on the Vigil himself. That'll be on the second floor, trying to delay this push for as long as possible. We, in addition to that, I believe have NVK in position here in the bathroom on the side to try and stop this. But it's a good start for Ramu, as he's able to isolate out Canadian very early on, prevent him from finding really any impact whatsoever, and knock him down outright.
Canadian is going to trade out quite a bit of health onto Ramu, though. Just lost that gun fight. That gun of Jackals does so much damage, very comparable to the R4C in its use. Well, Mario starts to come down Yellow Stairs, see if he finds success. He sees that no one's on the mirror window. This is what NORA-RENGO is known for, is this aggressive play. But Evil Genius is going to play it smart. They're going to drop off, I believe, NVK back down the hatch.
Once again, looking for his own lineup here. Mario is going to start working his way into position to drop down into the bathroom hatch, and he'll get into that position and already be able to line himself up a kill. Manages to isolate out Necrox. This is a great start to the round for NORA-RENGO. Geo, along with NVK and Young, are your only 3 players left standing for EG at this point. Helia still looking for a pickup down that hatch. Second one that he would be able to find as well. But meanwhile, he's just going to do a little bit of reconstruction with the buck to make that process a little bit easier for himself, at least when it comes to clearing out the inside of the garage.
Now, everyone thought that the SSG versus Empire match today was going to be game of the day, Blue.
See you on the other side.
I honestly didn't think so. And this right here is why. I think that NORA-RENGO versus Evil Geniuses is going to be match of the day. I think we're going the distance here. And NORA-RENGO definitely showing that they're no slouch against some of the top-rated teams inside of North America.
Well, they're certainly taking their time with the execute now. We're going to make sure no mistakes are made. So, in careful of any potential flanks that still may be working its way around the NORA-RENGO setup. However, for EG, they're just continuing to sit back and wasting time here. It seems like NORA-RENGO have all of a sudden run into a massive difficulty spike in terms of getting into this site. Young has been able to find a trade. Ramu, yes, he's worked himself in for the garage, but he doesn't feel safe to actually go for the plant, and there's a good reason why. NVK has the Nitro cell in the back, and he's able to take him down with it. This is turning around. All of a sudden, we've reached the 20-second mark here. NORA-RENGO quickly running out of time, but Geo with another pickup now gives EG back an advantage. Another pickup, in fact, coming in from Geo. Walker going to try to go for the plant behind the big white van. We are going to see the Nitro cell move in, but they won't even need it as NVK pushes back out, shuts it down for EG yet again, and puts them up at 2-0.
And that is why Evil Geniuses is the top of North America this season. Their clutch potential, even down 2 men, still edge it out against NORA-RENGO on that basement defense. Looking very strong so far on Consulate. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is NORA-RENGO's pick. So, this does not go their way. Evil Geniuses will definitely be on the path to victory. And possibly a 2-0. We will see. It is still very early. We do have 2-0 on the board, at least in this map, but you know, not the match count. That's exactly what we're going to be looking at. But so far, it does seem like Evil Geniuses is coming in hot.
Well, the Clash pick originally, but as we generally end up seeing, it is going to get 6 picked out. We're just waiting for the confirmation to come in, and the timer will force it. So he's going to end up going over to the dock. We saw something similar with the Capital pick for Waka over on NORA-RENGO's side. Let's take a look. The opener of the round once again with EG. Since they have closed out the top and bottom floor, not going to be left with much of a choice unless they wanted to go into Archives. Will have to play the lobby site, the more difficult ones, of course, for our defenders to hold off.
The site traditionally is held down by the bathroom, and one of my favorite callouts in all of Siege, the antechamber or connection hallway, people usually call between the A and B sites respectively on this map. Thank you, Marcio, for looking at that for me. I appreciate that. But just seemed like they are going to be playing some combative angles from the bathroom doors. You guys saw that deployable shield, as well as Canadian is going to start things downstairs on his notorious pulse, as he will gain the initial intel of where NORA-RENGO will push from. He's now spotting out that it will be the east side at the very least, as it does appear that NORA-RENGO will rappel up the east side in admin, as there is so many bodies dedicated upstairs from Evil Geniuses, as we can see with our beautiful X-ray vision.
Taylor once again is going to go hunting, trying to knock out the cameras that are still down below as well, just to deny that little bit of intel that EG might have gotten in the meanwhile. Canadian repositioning into a spot where he might be able to find impact on his Nitro cell. He will get droned out, however, so they're going to realize where his position is at. And he'll have to be incredibly careful about the way he proceeds over the next few moments as a result of that. And being droned out, he's now put himself into a dangerous spot, and he does not want to find himself eliminated so early on again. That would certainly doom him. And the rest of his teammates are having to deal with a very, very basic defense on that lobby site. But regardless, we've got NORA-RENGO still trying to push their way through. They've got control of admin. There is Canadian, however, finding the impact needed. Is able to line himself up a Nitro cell against Papilia, take him out and bring it into a 5v4.
Mario going to expend a stun grenade as well as a breaching round towards NVK, but he's not going to find too much of it. They're trying to use a couple of races. Exothermic shard, excuse me, exo pellets, as he will blow open the back of Meeting. But he's really not going to find anybody, as they have already rotated out. MVK is just chilling here as a time waster. They already had Geo rotate up and actually give him some extra health as well. So smart rotation by Evil Geniuses, allowing that to happen. NORA-RENGO really caught up upstairs with these roamers, and it actually appears that NVK, no, he is to the right. You guys can see his gun through the wall. He is actually still up here inside a bathroom, and actually Geo has joined him over here inside of the CEO office, as they're going to continue to apply pressure until NORA-RENGO decides what they want to do, or just let them expend as much time as they possibly can. Under a minute left, NORA-RENGO really staring down the barrel of losing this round.
Once again looking for his first lineup, but it's actually going to be Geo that is able to accomplish the second kill, now into the favor of EG. Time again running low for NORA-RENGO here. May have to force the issue in lobby, but that's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. The Maestro hasn't been banned out. You still have Evil Eye cameras to deal with, potential toxic babes that could be thrown as well. I believe he's got at least one, if not two, still remaining in his inventory. would open up another possible delay here. Only 20 seconds remaining, and even worse, they're down to a 2v4 now. They're going to try to leap in through yellow stairs and wrap in quickly through piano to at least try for a plant in piano, but no, the hatch blown wide open. They don't even seem to realize it, and Geo just picks up 2 more kills, nice and easily, giving the round again over to EG.
There is levels to this defensive hold, ladies and gentlemen. You have Canadian downstairs, you have the middle held down by the main defenders, and then you have Geo and NVK up on the top floor delaying as long as possible. NORA-RENGO not having any answer to this split hold by Evil Geniuses. Beautifully constructed strat by the boys in blue. NORA-RENGO haven't found success just yet, as they are down 3-0 currently.
I saw the Tachanka pick, Necrox.
We saw you. Can't hide it.
I see you.
You know you want to.
I know what you said. So, moving forward past that, we're going to go back over to 2F again, because we are going to have EG completing the rotation of 3 sites and the 3 rounds that would allow for the original site, to be unlocked. So they'll go back upstairs to play through this one again. 3-0 lead so far, unchallenged by NORA-RENGO, despite close rounds here and there. For the most part, it has been EG all day so far in this series.
Never heard anyone call it 2F before in my entire life, actually. You threw me for a loop there for a second. I was like, oh, wait. It is part of the name.
Let's say that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, oh, second floor. And they're like, 2F. I'm like, what is 2F? And I had to look up real quick for my stats sheet. It's like, oh, okay. But
I'm weird, sorry.
no, you're fine. You're fine. I just blame you entirely. That's really it. Yeah, that and that double-breasted shirt. I mean, double
jacket.
Oh,
jacket.
It's a satchel.
It's a sport coat, technically. You want to be really practical about it.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, we are going to have Necrox playing yellow stairs. You guys can see quite a bit of dedication and utility there for him. He only has 1 ADS, so typically you see exponential amount of ADSs there to try and prevent anything to happening to that beautiful Jaeger that's usually playing on those yellow stairs. But this time around, not going to dedicate nearly as much utility. NORA-RENGO going to start things off on the east side, going into admin once again for round number 4.
Similar approach that we saw taken in the previous round. Unfortunately, not much success was found here as they tried to split it between admin and yellow stairs at the same time. In addition to this, they pulled away from admin at the mid-round and eventually tried to recommit to it, but found pretty much 0 success as it was down to a 2v4. And of course, they were stressed for time at about 20 seconds left on the clock at that point. So we're never really able to accomplish too much. Again, Papile just quickly taking care of the camera in the corners. They will have to deal with that later on in the round. And he will set himself up for further action here in just a moment as soon as he's managed to open up what they need to do in admin. We see the attempt on the post from Canadian to pick up a kill, but it's not going to connect this time around. A complete miss on that Nitro Cell. 1 net EG, nothing this time.
They're going to have to start trying to clear out Canadian. If they let this happen too often, he will come up with a huge Nitro Cell that just wins them around outright. Last time he did have 1 initial pick, but it didn't play too much in the rest of the round. Biggest part being Geo with a very nice clutch there at the end and pick up 2. NVK going to start things off right once again for Evil Geniuses as Mario will go down. No more Ash, and we might see a couple rotations in players here on different ops and possibly the next round, or possibly a tactical timeout by the boys' Japanese squad.
Well, NVK with a nice lineup. He's got Mariu. He's NORA-RENGO once again down a man. Only a minute left to make up for it and try to find a way to push, of course, either into the projector or console office. Not a lot of time remaining for these guys to make a move, and again, it's the lack of control that's going to become an issue for them in the late game. They don't have good intel about what the site's looking like. I'm assuming they've been able to drone it out, but besides that, we unfortunately haven't seen a whole lot in terms of them actually trying to commit to a push. That's going to change now with Waka stepping up to the plate, being able to find Canadian as he attempts to lurk onto the NORA-RENGO players. 4 versus 4 is where we'll end up at. Now Micro Smokes coming in from Ramu to leave room for the plant to go in from Raisel. He will attempt to put it back down, but Pile as well chucking in a nade, and it's a perfect nade to take out Necrox. The problem is he sticks around for too long. Geo trades out. The plant will go in, yes, but look at how quickly EG is moving in for the retake. Already finding an additional frag to knock out the plant to Raisel and leaving it down into a 3 versus 2.
NVK going to come up with Waka, and it's going to be all left up to Ramu, as he does have a sight line on the diffuser, but there's 3 people left alive. They can just play the trade game, win it out appropriately, but he's going to commit one of his asphyxiating bolts, as they know they're going to have to try and peek into him. Ramu going to win the initial one against NVK. Still 2 to find as he's trying to delay as much as possible. They have to try and get aggressive, and it's going to be Gio. Can he win it out? He will, ladies and gentlemen, and this diffuser is going to get disabled by Young. Evil Geniuses 4 in a row. And this is just about the time we're more than likely going to see a tactical timeout coming out from NORA-RENGO because they need to make an adjustment.
Nicely done indeed for the guys over on EG to once again close it down on the defense. Once again, retake the site. It seemed like almost for a moment there as well, like we were mid-spray on the last player of NORA-RENGO, excuse me, trying to actually interrupt the counter defuse process. So it seems like that kill came just in the nick of time, as we would have ended up with our last player on EG also going down, and of course not enough time being left for that recommittal to the defuse to happen. It's back to the basement for the last time, or potentially the last time if we assume that EG will win this. If they are able to close it out, they'll be forced into the lobby site for one final round on their defending side.
Well, Sleepy Geo may have not gotten there in time just because, you know, it's in the name, but Sen Poppy Geo definitely will, as they will be able to clutch up that round with his partner Young in tow. So, Evil Geniuses so far perfect on console. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are just joining us, this is the first map between Evil Geniuses and NORA-RENGO. And this is actually, I know it may not seem like it, but it is NORA-RENGO's pick for their maps. Currently, their offensive set not going too hot, as they are, I mean, their main issue right now, I still believe, is they have not made an adjustment on ops to players. Currently, Walk is still running Thatcher. Yesterday playing a lot more aggressive ops, and it really worked out for him. His Ash play yesterday was masterfully done. Overall, really had a big impact, and I'm looking for that to happen again.
Yeah, the general flavor of their executes still remain relatively the same. Papila continuing to stick onto the buck for round after round again. Racel oftentimes being on the Ciplana as their only hard breach for the round. And as well, swapping out maybe a few ops here and there, but nothing major to the compositional, in terms of changes to their composition here. Unfortunately, it has left them with limited options to actually succeed in these rounds, and as such, EG has continued to cut in. Even when it seems like NORA-RENGO have full control of the situation, EG always are able to paddle back into it, whether it's a retake or just an outright shutdown on execute. We've seen them come out on top every single time so far, including at least 1 or 2 clutches already.
This is where you're going to want to see the Japanese squad come alive, guys. They're going to need at least 2 rounds here. Otherwise, this is just not looking good for them on their defensive set. But so far, this offensive round has been taking quite a bit of time comparative to the other ones. So they will focus on trying to eliminate this mid-floor game that EG has been playing.
Canadian does get a spot. He's ready with the Nitro Cell. He should be able to get sound intel if there is movement, but nope, the commitment comes out too early. It's Gio that has much better success with his own Nitro Cell to be able to take out Papilia. And again, give EG the edge at the start of the round. 5 versus 4. Racel now will be moving in. I'm unsure if the mute jammers have already been taken care of, or they're going to rely on Waka to throw down the jamming grenade for that. But considering he's down to just 1, I think it has already been done. And there we go. The holes have been blown open with the Kairos 1 to spray in from the back of the driveway. And of course, the 2 on the bottom right to allow for an entrance by the NORA-RENGO members.
A little bit of soft destruction here by Mario. As, did it go through the floor?
Did he shoot it down the hole?
Okay, I really don't know what happened there. Breaching round failure,
well,
apparently.
Tune in next time to find the answer to the mystery of the disappearing breaching round, I suppose.
Yeah, apparently.
It's on next week's episode, kids.
Next invite, you'll see it work. Anyways, Necrox, as he will be playing yellow stairs there. Still plenty of soft destruction already done upstairs for Mario, so don't worry your pretty little heads, but Necrox will remove Racel's head. Speaking of those, yet another Toxic Bay will ring, and another shotgun shell report will find a body to impact, as he will put Mario down. It's all left up to Waka and Ramu, as both of them will fleet back to the bench for last couple of seconds here as we are waiting for round number 6 to go live.
This 590 SMG-11 combo is starting to really dictate quite a few rounds. We've seen a massive amount of kills coming off just the SMG-11 alone, in addition to the 590 constantly picking up impact too. It's made for a seemingly pretty versatile kit And it's actually proven to be pretty powerful, as that SMG-11 still is good at sniping people, as we just saw right there, with just 1 or 2 shots. A tactical timeout is now going to be called. It's very much needed by NORA-RENGO. Only 1 more round left on their attacking side, and they're going to have to try and make something of it, as a 6-0 defensive run for EG is not going to leave NORA-RENGO in much of a position to come back, even though they will switch to the defensive side after 1 more round.
Kizoku going to choose to talk to the squad now, see if he can make any adjustments himself. Once again, these tactical timeouts do allow you to talk to your coach. Otherwise, you're only allowed to talk to yourself during regular play. Tactical timeouts are the only time you can talk to your coach. The man standing in the back there that sees every single monitor, so he has general understanding of what's going on throughout all of it. You can identify the issue a lot easier than inside of the game, where you are in that first-person perspective and really can't see what your teammates are doing too well. You just got to rely on those callouts so we can make an adjustment. But another thing is, Evil Geniuses also gets to do the exact same thing. So Gotcha going to be stepping up and talking to the boys over on the blue squad. Well, excuse me, the orange squad, but, you know, they're in blue. Anyways.
And there we go. The referee moves in to abruptly cut off the conversation, as he will force the coach to turn off and put up his microphone as the pause time is over. So it's back to taking notes for the coach for now to add input on the next pause if we do end up seeing one from EG. However, that's unlikely given the scoreline and the way that EG has been bursting through this map so far. Only 2 more rounds away from being able to close out here on map number 1 on Consulate and set themselves up for a 1-0 advantage, which is going to look very dangerous, at least in my eyes, when you consider how strong EG was on Oregon yesterday, which is also the second map of this series, if you are just joining us.
There we go. I was just about to ask for that, so I appreciate it. Geo, 8-1 currently. And things kind of top-heavy for NORA-RENGO.
Young hasn't even died yet.
Yeah, Young, I mean, he's young, wild, and free, man. He's just staying alive. He's just been having a good time in the corner with Maestro, really. He hasn't really had to do all that much. It's really all you gotta do. You just gotta stay on your...
You guys just take care of this. I'm just gonna sit here on my drones and...
He's just a child in the corner on the phone the entire time, just playing Flappy Bird. Just...
Got games on your phone?
You got games on your... Oh no. Oh no. That's how you guys know it's the end of the day. It's when the real memes start. It's when the real spicy memes start. But no, Evil Geniuses been looking perfect, and it definitely shows in the scoreline so far. The trade game has been very good, and Gio's just been really in the right place at the right time. A lot of these kills kind of just getting fed to him right there at the end of these rounds. He's had a couple that really have showed up later on, a couple from utility as well as a couple gunfights won. But key point I wanted to talk about earlier that you were talking about was the M590 SMG-11 combo that's been so prolific throughout Invite, as well as just before with Smoke in general. I think the biggest thing is that it is coming back. Everyone was using the FMG-9 there for a little bit, just due to the fact that the SMG-11 was practically unusable. But we did get a nerf for the recoil, so, or a buff, if you want to use it that way, where it is better. So,
it's a much better way to explain
yeah, much better.
I got what you meant, but
yeah.
I know what everyone else did.
Everyone was like, what do you mean?
Wait, it wasn't a nerf, it was a buff.
Yeah, it's a buff, but, you know, it's kind of contradictory when you're talking about recoil. But the biggest thing, phrasing, exactly. The biggest thing there being that you have a gun for longer ranges and you have a gun that instantaneously wins a close-up gunfight, as long as you don't miss. You know how hard it is to miss with a shotgun that shoots pellets? Extremely difficult. You don't even have to aim. You just got to hit fire and just hope enough pellets hits to instantaneously kill. And it showed quite a few times.
Got NORA-RENGO once again with time starting to get low, committing to their push on the inside as EG once again looks to take control of this lobby site, or as EG looks to defend, I should say, these lobby sites. The phone call will go out. That's going to hold the EG players back for at least a moment, or obviously reveal their positions. Oh, perfect push from Waka as well. Catches NVK just as the second logic bomb that come out as well, so he gets that little bit of extra intel. Necroc's going to be forcing him around. He's on his toes right now because he doesn't necessarily know what the strat is going to be for NORA-RENGO, but finally does get himself behind the safety of the piano, and as such, will get a chance to reset his device and silence his phone.
It's Necrox is going to try and hold down piano. Raso going to run in for the plant. You guys can see that timer on the right side of your screen. Young, though, not going to be able to find anything as the plant will go through for Raso. He will not go down in the process, but Necrox will, as the defense is trying to rally back.
Pretty wild round so far, but it seems at the moment that NORA-RENGO may have finally found what they need to be able to take control of this lobby site. Oh, Mary wasn't even going to be in that, but he ran right into it. Canadian, the luck of the draw working out for him. Young with a massive leap out, but it'll net him nothing before the detection comes in. Canadian tries to do the same. He does have position on the outside. The problem is this isn't where they're holding. It's on the inside where we see two players shut down. Necrox making the run around. The problem is he has really no time left here. He needs to get on the diffuser right now if he wants to get the counter diffuse off, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. Too much time going to waste. Pops off the Toxic Babe. Not that it's going to accomplish much at this point, but NORA-RENGO finally accomplishing a round of their own. We'll set up a 5-1 score. There it is.
You gotta love them. You gotta love them. These are literally now my favorite people to cast.
Can't keep a serious face.
It's so great. I love it. I absolutely love this squad, man. They're fantastic.
It's the way it's the way their coach just stares at the camera when he does.
Yeah, I know. He just like eyes wide open.
You have no choice but to look at me in doing this. Like,
stare into my eyes. Look at me. Swear to me.
So switching sides for EG, who will now jump onto the attack, and NORA-RENGO mounting the defense. Just 2 more rounds away still for EG, of course, to close this one out. But on the attack, that task may prove far more difficult than it would have been on the defense for NORA-RENGO. And hoping this is a chance, especially coming off that first round win on a pretty difficult site, if we're being completely honest. Are still able to take control of that one. And hopefully that has reinvigorated them for the defensive rounds that are about to begin now.
Well, I've never been able to say this before just because I don't get to cast EG that often, but the Canadian is playing the Canadian. We have Canadian on Buck. We have 2 Canadian operators inside of Rainbow Six Siege. We have Frost and we have Buck. Buck the more prolific, more useful, arguably, out of the 2. I know we have seen some useful Frost mats in the past on certain maps, but
today actually.
Yeah, saw some today specifically.
It proved super useful in cache CCTV on Clubhouse, especially considering especially with an opponent team that likes to bring a Montaigne onto that site on the attacking side. You literally just put a frost mat down on the top of that catwalk on the inside of garage, and it causes a massive delay. As obviously the Montaigne, if that player that normally the Maestro that hangs out on the catwalks is still alive, the Montaigne can't do anything. He's forced to stop until he can get a teammate to push in with him.
Don't want to drop that shield as Monty risks. You're going to risk everything. Are you going to risk everything to try and get rid of that frost mat? No, you're not. You're going to have somebody rotate. Well, 30 seconds into round number 7 is once again EG up 5-1. You guys are just joining us once again. Welcome. First of all, this is going to be the last match of Stream A on Rainbow Six. Make sure you guys catch the action on Rainbow Six Bravo as well, as you guys can see. First map on Consulate between NORA-RENGO and Evil Geniuses. As Evil Geniuses has just now gotten to their offensive set. Only need 2 rounds to win this initial map.
Waste no time in popping up at the top of the wall here. Actually, it looks like it was left soft as far as I could see too. So the rest of the wall can be breached open if the need arises. Not really anyone playing into that corner for NORA-RENGO. This one won't be much of an advantage they can gain from that. Racelo still playing behind the stairs. He is going to be looking to hold off the eventual push from EG. He will be the guardian of the yellow stairs for this round. So they have to Geo and a few other players to stop this. He actually gets saved by the ADS right there. A couple of flashbangs are about to be thrown his way, so we will throw down his first Toxic Babe. The problem is we can see the asphyxiation bolts moved in and actually managed to fully take him down, I believe, just through those bolts alone. Canadian will find the corpse and finish it off, knocking out Racel at the start of the round, giving EG an early 5v4 advantage. Some other players have taken damage, though, so it's not necessarily a free kill, with Necrots going down to 50 and Geo losing about 30 or 40 HP.
Evil Geniuses has really been able to work their way through thick and thin so far this console match. Only losing 1 round so far, and they had a heck of a clutch earlier on the garage as well, which was very well played, especially by Geo. He has really been clutching up all day, and specifically why you're going to see him on the Ash right now. Insane gun skill, as he will find yet another victim in the likes of Ramu, as he will begin his absolute onslaught on yellow. And he's going to get extremely aggressive as he hears the report of the MP7 of Waka. He knows he's downstairs. NBK playing here as well. Is somebody actually rotated into yellow? Is he going to win the gunfight? Geo! Send Poppy Geo, ladies and gentlemen. Papilia will go down. Canadian going to find one of his own. That's going to be Waka. It's going to be all left up to Mario as Necrox will begin to plant the diffuser.
Plant should go out interrupted unless Mario can get a very nice angle, but I don't think it's possible. He's looking to instead take him down on the stand-up, but Not gonna see that. Mario again looking for any opportunity that he can use to pick up a kill. Came close on a few occasions, but it is not to be met. Evil Geniuses find themselves yet another round and sit only one away now from closing out the first map. NORA-RENGO's pick as well.
We got fist bumps by EG, and we got hand signals by NORA-RENGO. You just, you take your poison, really, honestly.
Trance dances, I think, would be the more.
Trance dances?
I guess you could consider that a trance dance, you know? It's like chill. It's like.
Yeah. You could definitely see some house music over it, just like the ESL Rainbow Six page put some
yeah, they did.
Nice
I just remember that.
Over that. It's the NORA-RENGO dance challenge. We have to get in on that. We have to get in on that. Blue. Yeah. Can you guys edit one of those for us? I'd appreciate that.
I know the guy. I know the guy.
You know the guy?
Yeah.
I know a guy that knows a guy. That's you that knows that guy, by the way. I'll stop.
I'll go talk to the guy. But moving on in this match, of course, where EG are going to look to shut it down. The potential final battleground will be in the basement, as expected once again. Nora choosing to move on from that upstairs site instead of re-attempting the same thing. It was unfortunately, once again, relatively one-sided, so it would be, in my eyes anyway, a bit of a waste to immediately re-attempt that if they haven't figured out the issues they were having on that round.
NORA-RENGO really not able to find their footing just yet either, honestly. I mean, they've had a lot of trouble so far, but they are going to be on the defensive side of things. They are going to move downstairs. Upstairs site just not the best for them. But Evil Geniuses continues to roll on. I believe Blue Squad, I'm sure, is freaking out right now as they are poised to take down this first map against NORA-RENGO, which will set them up for arguably a victory already, because they have their choice up next, which, if you're a NORA-RENGO fan, that's not something that you want.
It's a map. I mean, we already brought this up earlier, but EG absolutely dominated on that map yesterday.
It's you don't. It's almost to the point where you don't want to take him there. But honestly, what map do you want to take Evil Geniuses to right now? Unless you're Team Reciprocity, I guess, because they beat him. But I don't know, man. At the beginning of the season, I didn't think Evil Geniuses was going to be that hot. I thought they're going to have a slow start like they usually do every season. But this season in particular, they've come out swinging right out the gate. And it's really showing right now on this international stage, as the Japan squad can just not find the answer. And Gio's already inside. He's going to find Papilia. He's going to try and find another. Will he find the Mira? Oh my goodness, the pistol kill almost coming through, but Mario going to win 2 gunfights. Gio going to go down as well as Young. And yet another one won by Ramu, the very well-placed Nitro Cell, and there's just a kill flurry by NORA-RENGO. And once again, a little bit of Caster's Curse coming in there as Ramu will clean everything up. A 3K from Pipes for him. Doesn't even have to move. And see Will just have 3 kills fed towards his side.
And so NORA-RENGO stay alive. They are able to successfully hold on to the basement site, keeping them in it for yet another round. The problem is they have a lot of Evil Geniuses to run the gauntlet directly up to 6. So even with that second round, or excuse me, first round going on to the, second round, sorry, going on to the board for themselves, they now need 4 more in a row. They want to have a hope of still being able to take this to OT and, of course, claim their own map selection as a point in this series. Final picks coming out now. It's going to go back up to the second floor. NORA-RENGO feel confident in their ability to win this again. Well, more so they probably don't want to play the other 2 options, so they'll head back up here.
Looks just by the lineup of the offense that they kind of thought that it was going to go the opposite way. Thought that it was going to go to the lobby. And just due to the fact of the Capitao pickup. Capitao is really prolific in any kind of scenario, but he works especially well in lobby because you can asphyxiating bolt the door of the bathroom, basically just make it a cell to where no one can get out.
They did find use with the Capitao on the first round that was played up here as well. If you remember correctly, the 2 asphyxiation bolts were put down at the top of Yellow Stairs early on and actually trapped the Smoke Racel on the inside of it. And they were able to get basically a free kill against him at the start of the round. They try to do something similar, so Racel will have to be careful about his position, especially if he still decides to play into that Yellow Steps spot, because once again, he'll find himself in a very vulnerable spot should he stick around for too long. And especially, of course, the asphyxiation bolts trap him on the inside again.
5 seconds to insertion.
Third defense by NORA-RENGO. Once again, they will go back upstairs after an unsuccessful attempt the last time. Basement worked out, though, and it worked out very, very well. Only, I believe, 1 kill, if not no kills for Evil Geniuses on that prior round. And that might be, the shot heard around the world later on if NORA-RENGO will be able to bring this back. It seems like they're a lot more prolific on their defenses so far, at least, as we will have NVK as well as Necrox start over here on the west side of the building.
He's going to be moving their way up to the roof. Necrox will once again try to patrol. This is where we saw him chuck down the bolts, the fire bolts before to be able to hold back mainly Racel, but this time, while we do still have Racel on the inside, there's no sign of those bolts just yet. Obviously, we're still very early days in the round, so there's plenty of time for us to see that later. Just burn down the ADSs really quickly with his flashbangs, and in the meanwhile, Canadian gonna go for an absolutely brutal skeleton key kill. Necrox finding out an ADS for free also takes that out. But once again, it's Racel that becomes the first victim of EG here on this top site take.
You never see a skeleton key on rappel ever. It's like the closest angle possible you see skeleton keys from. Just, okay, all right, Canadian. It's your operator, man. It's your operator. You're literally from the same place. You do you.
Listen, it gets the job done. Right?
Exactly. I mean, honestly, he didn't even have to aim. He just sprayed in his general vicinity. Senpai Geo, excuse me, will be able to get 2 different utilities, and MVK will walk into a kill downstairs as Walker will be taken out in the antechamber hallway.
Besides this, down to 3 here now for NORA. Senpai Geo, though, or Senpapi Geo, gonna be able to move in and finds a 1-for-1 trade. Unfortunately, a little bit too slow to save his teammate Necrox, but the trade still definitely plays into his team's favor. More importantly than that, they've opened up the site and an opportunity to plant the diffuser, which Young will do right now. NVK pops open the barricade and pops off the head of Ramu in the process, following it up with 1 additional frag against Papilia, giving the map to Evil Geniuses. 1-0 over NORA-RENGO, taking us to a second map over on Oregon, which would be EG's own pick, meaning they now have a very, very good chance to shut this down in a quick 2-0 fashion when you consider their strength on that specific map in yesterday's matchup against Stream.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing we learned that last round, don't sleep on NVK, ladies and gents. The man still has the gun skill to get it done. 9-5, pretty even across the board, actually, which is very good. Geo ended up with 12-3, Canadian with 8-4. So
entire team ended up positive at the end of the day, so certainly everyone at least contributing, carrying their own weight, I guess you could say, in a certain extent, but Geo certainly leading the way and taking charge in quite a few of those situations, just going off on the players from NORA-RENGO, and unfortunately just too little too late at the end of it as we started to see them pick up at least 1 more round. Couldn't do it again on the top floor, though, which proved too easy for the guys on EG to take control of, especially by taking control of Yellow Stairs. Normally that takes a much longer time to actually get access to it and then eventually push into the site with, but for some reason it was just a very poorly held portion of the map by the guys on NORA-RENGO, and as such that top floor constantly went to EG the 2 times it was played out.
I think the biggest thing is NORA-RENGO just got hot way too late. We really didn't see a standout from NORA-RENGO at all.
No, we didn't.
The only standout round that there was the downstairs site, which I'm sure you guys will see here in a minute on the replays. We are going to bring those up for you guys. You guys can see all the crazy things that happened during that first map.
There was good tactics. That's the thing from NORA-RENGO. The problem is when it goes wrong, this is often a symptom for a lot of teams that just don't have as much international experience, which you could slowly start to phase RENGO out of this category, but not necessarily just yet. The problem is when things go bad, they don't necessarily have a backup plan easily accessible. They always seem to lag behind a little bit and try to think about what to do, but never really end up actually changing the execute too much. As a result of that, that leaves them as a very one-dimensional team and a very easy team to read for their opponents, which is often why we saw EG shutting them down in ways like that.
That skeleton key kill, man, that was insane. That was absolutely insane. What a great map for Evil Geniuses NORA-RENGO. It's got a long road ahead if they want to bring this back. They're going to have to win 2 maps in a row. They're going to have to take down Evil Geniuses on their map choice.
7-2 is certainly not the most confident start for NORA-RENGO. However, moving over to Oregon, a map that every team knows how to play, they might still have a chance to sneak their way back in. So we want to, again, bring your attention to the matchup yesterday versus Stream, where after we had EG come back on Villa, they continued and absolutely dominated on an individual basis alone, throwing tactics out the window for a second here, just around the fragging capability of all the individual players on EG. It was an absolute destructive matchup from them.
Ooh. We're going to have the map stats out actually right now, and NORA-RENGO has banned Oregon once. They've played it twice, and they lost both of those times. EG banned it once, have played it twice, and won both times. NORA-RENGO might have something up the sleeve, maybe going to guess during that break period, they have done a little bit of work on the maps that they weren't so successful on, so we'll just see exactly what they can pull out. Once again, I've literally gotten DMs about it, but I'm going to say it again. Oregon, very linear map. It's the most linear map in the game. There you go. That's really it. I mean, Oregon is just a place for people to have gunfights. Everyone really knows the strats that are going to be used, except, again, Big Tower is kind of undiscovered land, as we're soon finding out. So,
very confident land for the defenders, as I believe it's one of the most defender-sided sites on the list that we have here. I'll have to double-check that once we get in-game, but still, it's definitely seeing a lot more teams lean towards that one after they go through the typical basement and kids' dorms rotation. It's usually over to the tower where we see the third site picked up by most teams nowadays.
So, for me at least, I think the key to Big Tower is taking that T3. Having T3 control, you can take all control of T2. That's going to be the main thing that you want to control inside of the tower because they have to dedicate themselves to 2 ways of entry, either through attic or by coming up the stairs. If you're able to control T2 and get the plant down, then you have a very good chance of winning tower. But so far this season, ladies and gentlemen, Big Tower has a 62% rating for defensive wins.
That's incredibly high, as obviously we usually end up seeing those stick in the 50s as you approach the 60s, and obviously like anything like the 70% area.
Actually used to be 70.
Did it? Wow. That was probably when it was like only like very dedicated teams that were doing it, and they just crushed it because attackers probably didn't know how to play it, I would imagine.
It's actually insane because it used to be the defense that had no idea how to play. They used to bring castle and like castle barricade all the windows and just go,
No.
okay, let's do this, and then they just bring fuse and just dink, cluster charge. That's it. Yeah. So basically just made a kill box inside of the tower.
Yeah, I can imagine. So not only that as well, but just if you have soft destruction, it's like you're outside.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able
Yeah, just take sledge and just
sledge them down. And you're not really going to be able to do much to stop that. So castle probably not the best way to approach that for those of you guys that might be newer out there, but give it a shot. Let us know how it goes for you. And if you get put into a kill box with fuse.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That's the only thing you don't want to hear is a fuse that you can't do anything about. That is the good news about soft barricades. We just have the wooden barricades, but a castle barricade where you hear the dink, and you're like, oh no.
and then it gets really bad when you find that your teammates reinforce the close walls and attic as well, and it's like, well, we just have no way to get out of here.
Well, I'm now dead.
We've locked ourselves in.
Goodbye,
locked ourselves in. But ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the teams are once again sat down and getting ready for their matchup. And despite the loss, it's all smiles.
That's what I love about
NORA-RENGO
these
camp.
guys, man. That's what I love about it.
They don't care.
No.
They just got wrecked 2-7. And they're ready to go. They're ready to jump right into their next matchup. You gotta love it. It's an incredibly positive attitude. What is that?
Oh my god! If you guys could hear Kizaku's laugh
I just heard
right
the
now,
sound he just made.
it's like, I swear to God, that is the sound that Kizaku's making right now. We can hear it over the wall.
It's literally
Oh
just to
my
our left
goodness.
behind. We're literally behind that wall that you see in the well, not that wall, but
Oh
the
my-
other wall for NORA-RENGO.
Oh my goodness!
G2
These
I think
guys,
is to our left here, but
these guys.
or not G2, EG.
Oh my goodness, man! They are so much fun to cast, man. It's insane, absolutely insane. Well, we're going to be kicking things off on Oregon now, Blue, as we are going to be going to map 2 of our last match of the day on A Stream, ladies and gentlemen. As it will either end in the hands of evil geniuses taking this 2-0, or Blue and I will have to stick around for another map, and NORA-RENGO will attempt the comeback.
For the NORA-RENGO roster, here comes their first.
Ooh.
It's actually Blitz, interestingly enough. Now, we did see that used by EG yesterday.
Canadian.
In one round, but it was relatively unsuccessful. So
That's a nice way to put it.
you know, gotta keep it kosher. And we will see the choice still, despite the fact that it was a relatively unsuccessful round, they still decide to ban it. So interesting decision by NORA-RENGO there to eliminate that. Glaz being EG's pick, as well as Valkyrie on their defense pick. That generally falls in line with what we've seen from EG on the past, especially on this map, and specifically Valkyrie being more of a personal pick for them, just not wanting to deal with the cameras. Echo will be the choice from NORA-RENGO, as again, just not wanting to deal with those yokais. Because obviously if they go unnoticed, since they can quite literally turn invisible, it can really mess up your execute.
Yeah, Echo gives me nightmares, especially inside of, personally, since, I'm just a filthy casual that plays ranked. When they have the Maestro Echo setup, it's disgusting. Anybody that allows that through in any style of competitive, just don't allow that. That is such a terrifying duo inside of sight as the Maestro Echo duo. And especially before bans were implemented inside of competitive, that was played every single map. Every single map, it was the Echo Maestro duo, and it's so hard to get past.
So this is interesting. On the 6th pick that we ended up seeing from EG, it's a Montaigne over towards a Sledge. You're looking at like 2 completely different playstyles on those 2 operators as well. So it should be interesting to see if they're trying to bait a thought pattern into NORA-RENGO to think of this is going to be some type of slower play when instead it might be a very fast play should they decide to go for that route. But considering it's the basement, I would say a fast play is more so out of the cards here. We'll end up seeing what EG prefers to go for in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, handily they give us a timer for that, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But three speeds on the offense. Ash, Habana, Cap, and Tao, all those 3 operators. Buck and Sledge bringing that back up. So they actually have 3 soft destructions as well. So there's a lot of potential here for the defense. Very interested to see how they're going to try and handle things. As Rezo will put up a wooden barricade on the back of construction, just to make sure that they have some sound cues for if a rush will be implemented by the offense.
Actually, I think even they are like thinking that this is, considering the amount of soft destruction they saw, I think even they might have caught onto this one, so they are putting an excessive amount of barricades on the tunnel doors. It's not going to be coming in from there, though. This is where I kind of expected it to go. It's going to be a T3 take to start things off for the guys on EG, and I think that's going to be the staging point for this, the majority of this round for their attack here. We saw this used earlier as well, and it became quite powerful. It was Empire that was just constantly going in for tower takes in the early round, and they were able to leverage it so well that EG is also looking like they're giving this a shot now, too.
We saw a crazy kill earlier from that small tower by a pistol on Empire. Absolutely insane shot. I believe that was Karzeka, wasn't it? I do believe.
I think so, yeah.
If I remember that appropriately. But seems like everything is going to start on the big tower for Evil Geniuses. And I actually saw a post earlier today that was asking why people start at the big tower for basement takes. Well, it's mainly to take control of meeting, because they want to take control of attic, they can get the hatch open, and it just makes meeting a whole heck of a lot easier, especially when you have people like Geo on Buck, where you can Buck open the entire back wall of stage, really make your presence known, as well as gain easy access to the rear stairs.
Got NVK looking for options on the back stairs now. Try and see if anything would have presented itself in the basement, but that won't be the case. They still have to go for a decent amount of drone work before they're going to feel comfortable to move in. Meanwhile, NORA-RENGO has the run of the house on the other side here. Quite literally not being contested at all by anyone on EG. So they want to pull those players back in a moment, as it is looking like, for the most part, yeah, we've got EG moving in now, both down the tower steps, and in a second they're going to be moving out through the Red Hall, through the tunnel, into the basement as well.
Geo will prep a nade, decides to put it away as he will re-pull the pin. By the way, can't do that in real life, just to let you guys know. Do not attempt that, as he will get rid of a little bit of barbed wire. No damage going to come out from that just yet. As some of those toxic babes will start to hit the ground, but nothing to come of them. Evil Genius is playing the long game here on information, but it just seemed that all of NORA-RENGO is posed for this back take. Things will start to pop off. NORA-RENGO will have to make the adjustment here, as Necrox will try to create a firebox of the back end of the site. He does a decent job of it, as Ramu will take quite a bit of damage off of that. Things really just popping out for everybody as, oh my goodness, this gunfight happening right now as Papilia will not be able to find a kill. Canadian will actually end up winning that. Geo going to get nitro celled out. Mario is going to be able to find one. Ramu, Rezo actually going to kill Mario, and then Rezo's going to find another. Then Young finds Waka. 2v2 situation with 7 seconds left on the clock, as some soft destruction will come out from MVK. He's the last one alive, as he's going to have to try and grab the diffuser, but he has no time, ladies and gentlemen. Ramu will be able to find NVK. It's going to be NORA-RENGO with the beautiful hand movement, the trance dances.
I'm sorry. Oh my god.
I know you guys can't see me, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
We'll do it when we come back.
I feel it. I'm feeling it.
We've got to do it now, right?
I'm gonna do it the entire time until my right arm falls asleep.
Well, it is NORA-RENGO that pick up the opening round in their favor, and quite a spectacle of a fight. Trades going all over the place. Definitely a difficult time in terms of the comms there for sure between the two teams. We do have the Montaigne initial pick coming out from Canadian again, and I have a feeling he might stick with it this time. Nope, there's the 6th pick again. And where's it going?
Where is it going? Nobody knows. It's going to be
Sophia.
Sophia.
All right, a little bit less exciting than Sledge in my eyes, but still, obviously going to be... Oh, he baited us.
You baited.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Locate and defuse
A little bit.
pretty similar. So
Yeah. Basically the same operator.
Yeah.
So,
they both have grenade launchers.
Sophia's more useful, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, utility-wise. Utility-wise. She is a major comfort pick for a lot of fragging players, and Canadian is one of those. So, no one a stranger to Ash. She's literally been in the game since the beginning of time. Time started 3 years ago, by the way. So, in case you
Beginning of
guys were wondering.
Siege time.
Yeah. I'm only 3 years old in Siege time.
I think everyone is.
Yeah. 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 We're all 3 today. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. I can't even count myself in that because I've owned the game since it came out. So.
Hey, there you go.
Hey.
Were you a beta player or no?
What's up?
You a beta player or no?
No. I believe, if I recall correctly, I got the game for free with a laptop that I bought.
Oh, filthy casual.
In 2015. So,
Filthy casual, Blue. Gosh.
I've had it since then.
Oh, well, we're glad to have you here now.
Thank you.
Actually, did we just see somebody inside of small tower? Did I just see that X-ray appropriately? No, we didn't. Okay, that was just my eyes deceiving me. I apologize. Mercy you. But as we are going to be moving across the map, I honestly don't know who I saw inside of there. Might have just been somebody at an elevation, just the right place to be on that staircase. But speaking of elevation, Young's going to elevate his KD as he is going to find Waka. And Waka is just not finding any success so far. He tried to pick up the dock, try and take a gunfight with that ACOG, but it's not going to work out. But you know what will work out? Mario, as he is going to be able to find NBK. But he's going to take a lot of damage for it, and there's no longer a dock to help him back up.
No, there's not. With Waka going down, Mario sits alone at just about 5 HP left. Geo, in the meanwhile, will be allowed to walk in and start pushing forward for EG. Good amount of time wasted, however, in delaying that by taking those fights. NORA-RENGO have at least burned a minute off the clock. If they can do that with another minute or so, they're going to be in a very good position to defend this upstairs site and pick up a second round in a row, of course. For Canadian and the rest of EG, though, they are still busy with droning at this point and trying to more specifically take out some of the roamers that may or may not be walking around here on the first floor. With Geo getting into the action with the droning a little bit here as well to check out towards the kitchen and see the type of setup that the guys over on Nora are working with. A ladder climb sends one of their players back up to the top floor and allows that last real roaming presence to escape to 2F.
Geo going to set his sights on the kitchen. Canadian going to take quite a bit of damage in that gunfight with Papilia, but he is going to be able to maintain his life as he does take down the Jaeger. No more roamers to really worry about, all except for Mario, as he is upstairs inside of the attic. But Canadian now on the hunt for that one as well. So there's going to be a breach charge from behind as he will hop on the drone. Going to scare Mario a little bit as he's going to see the drone hop through. Is he going to take the gunfight? He is, and he'll win it. Canadian being very confident as usual. And Racer will get the gunfight from underneath. What a vertical, just leaps and bounds back and forth between each other. Geo is going to fall, though, as there is only 37 seconds left on the clock. It's up to Racer and Ramu. They can maintain site presence. Young and Necrox for Evil Geniuses in this 2v2. So we will see who will fall. 25 seconds left on the clock. Racer will be fine inside of his own toxic smoke, but Young will hop in the double window. So Racer is trying to play all the angles as possible, but Young will remove his head for him. It's all left up to Ramu as the diffuser will start to go down. You can actually not shoot through this, if I do remember appropriately, so Ramu's not even going to waste his breath, as he will just wait for Young to rotate out. Is Young going to go for it? He's going to lay down. Catches a bullet in the foot. Ramu's going to go to the aggressive. That call is going to come up from Necrox, but no. He was actually on the rotate, and he's going to have to win that fight, but Ramu is going to win it. Oh my goodness. What a shot from the Mira. That was insanity.
But an incredibly long-range shot on the Mira as well. Here we go. They've got it again. They've got the rounds working in their favor, and they are happy about it. As we see NORA-RENGO, picking up yet another round for themselves. A 2-0 lead here over Evil Geniuses on their defensive half so far. EG coming so close time and time again, but failing at the final moments due to NORA-RENGO wasting time with their roam presence earlier on in the round. Evil Geniuses once again end up stressed for time in that situation, and despite the diffuser ending up going down for EG in a comfortable 2v1, they still were not able to close it out because they could not get the Hibana outside of the big window in time, which allowed for the Mira, played by Raisel, to close out the 1v2. Or, excuse me, Rambo. They switched it up now, so it threw me off.
Main thing for me right here, especially on Oregon. Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
All right. Anyways, what I was going to talk about is Flynn and I touched on this quite a few times, whether it just be normal chatting or casting. But Oregon is where good teams go to lose. Well, you really can't use that excuse because NORA-RENGO is definitely showing Evil Geniuses that they should not have taken them to Oregon. Just like NORA-RENGO kind of got proven wrong about Evil Geniuses on Consulate. So this might be, this happens pretty often inside of a lot of competitive esports. This might be the map swap where, you know, it actually happens more often than not, which is impressive.
10 seconds
Meanwhile,
left before
in
insertion.
case you haven't noticed yet, we're looking at it right now. We've got that Frost coming into play once again. We saw it once earlier. We talked about how it was utilized. Now little we see it because of the fact that oftentimes ends up only being useful to block out certain choke points, and that is exactly what Waka is going to use the Frost mats for. So hopefully just keep players from EG out, and then some of the positions that they may not be able to personally watch themselves. Of course, Frost, one of the least picked operators. The only operator that is picked less is, or at least when it comes to the defending operators, would be Caveira. And I believe that that stat might have actually been changed due to the amount of Caveira play we had yesterday and at the beginning of today.
Yeah, Caveira having a lot of effective use so far at this land, especially. This Canadian will try and catch the toesies of someone. It's not going to make any contact as they will run out. I don't know if that was Mario. Who exactly was it? Just due to the fact that we don't have any names above when you're on the opposite team. As you guys can see, all those blue silhouettes have 0 names for us right now.
Canadian already ready to start his push in through Master. Once again, walk-in has been left completely open, so it's going to be a very straightforward walkthrough here. The guys on EG, and there's no reason I would expect it to be closed, considering that this isn't even the site. It's over towards Tower. Meanwhile, we've got the mirror in play with the site watch over here into the attic. That is a little bit dangerous that they have locked themselves out of attic. Just a little bit their movement in the late round, but again, it gives them a massive amount of info. And it looks like got a crawl hole on the right anyway, which is guarded by the boxes in the back, so they can still navigate to the inside here, should the need arise.
Stay back.
Bracelet working a little bit of quick peek action on his Mira. Evil Genius is trying to just play the info game right now, trying to figure out exactly where they want to try and take this from. They're going to open up another sight line on to the attic. Looks like that is where they want to start things. More than likely, they're going to be going for a T2/T3 take here, maybe even a basement. We'll see exactly where they want to move those bodies to, as NORA-RENGO will start to open up windows so they can combat Satellite and Highway, respectively, on the east and west sides of attic.
BK is going to start to push himself into the basement. They know they've got a hard ping onto someone down here from NORA-RENGO, and they'll look to try and eliminate him before he has a chance to rotate back up, but that player's ready to take a fight. It's Pelia sitting on the castle down here, waiting for a chance to take these guys out should they go for the push. He's going to get droned out more than likely in a moment. Those NVK completes his droning, sees him inside of the tower stairs pocket here, and we'll wait for the push to come in. Whoa, there we go, Castle testing fate a little bit as he tries to go out for the duel, but neither player confirming any damage onto the other. So that'll turn into a standoff, and how is this happening? All right, that's going to get stopped.
Defender is approaching a
Yeah,
kill
I was questioning what was going on
Defender
there for a second, but Young will die with Diffuser. Only 10 seconds left on the clock. Somebody's going to have to carry the torch, and Ramba will be able to make a rotation into attic. Then he'll immediately get snuffed out. 2v2 situation is not much will be found. Rama's going to find yet another kill. It'll be a pistol, and then
Head of Frost trap kill.
Waka will find the Frost kill.
Not that it was really needed at that point in the round, but it's always nice to see. Bye-bye.
I mean, that is the beauty of operators with traps like that. I mean, Capcan and Frost both just completely bear on anyone that is working too quickly to look down.
Very much the case. So, another successful round for NORA-RENGO. Beautiful streak being lined up by them so far. EG, another false start from them, looking like the beginning of Villa in their match versus the Stream yesterday. They come very close to closing out rounds, or at the very minimum, getting to the objective and finding the defuse plant, and oftentimes getting that defuse plant on the ground, but messing up a key element of the matchup, or of the round at some point through it, often leaves a gaping hole for NORA-RENGO to abuse, and eventually win out the round themselves.
Very smart tactical timeout by Evil Geniuses. They're actually going to do it halfway through the rotation of NORA-RENGO. So, full rotation left in the works for the boys on the defense currently. They're going to have to go back to all those sites you guys just saw played. it appears that Geo is the main man talking for Evil Geniuses right now, just trying to get things figured out with the rest of his squad. Looks like they will agree upon something. We'll get jumped back in here momentarily. And honestly, I think their biggest issue right now is they just don't know what they want control of. They kind of just drone out everything and slowly work their way towards site with no real direction. And it's kind of fallen apart once they finally try to get settled for that execute. I think they did get one plant down, but honestly, really shouldn't have happened. Really should not have happened. I mean, it was a little bit of an oversight by the smoke. He peeks right into where Young is at the wardrobe, ends up getting taken out, and then Ramu ends up clutching it up anyways. So, a bit of a clutch situation there for NORA-RENGO, but it does indeed happen, as we are going to have Canadian switch off of the Jackal to the Buck. Going to be picking him up once again off of the Ash.
Protect your bombs from
We'll be in the
being
basement
used by
once more for
attackers.
this next round, as we've got NORA-RENGO looking to try and complete the rotation one more time here to locate 0 rounds in this half to Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses again, false start so far, not finding really much impact whatsoever when it comes to their play on this attacking side. And even when you look at the kill department, unfortunately things aren't looking that great. To be fair, we still have a few players on NORA-RENGO lagging behind as well. It's really been the Ramu show for the most part. And in fact, we've got another player that's going on a streak right now. We had this happen before. I don't remember if it was our second or third game, but anyway, Ramu's currently 8-0. Someone else is running this streak. Now we had another player earlier go 14-0. I think it might have been Karzekar or someone from Empire. Regardless, it is a massive streak that Ramu has been able to go on, and he's yet to be defeated out of the 3 rounds that have been played out.
They're actually going to put a soft mirror at the back of supply room here. Very peculiar. Usually you do see a reinforcement on that. They will just shoot open the side wall in order to combat the hatch, but not for NORA-RENGO. That might work out well for them because they are actually going to be able to take combat off of that mirror. Bad news is that you can also get shot through the soft destruction.
Of course, to start things off here, we're going to be looking at a very slow approach to the opener from EG again. Once more, prioritizing the tower take. It hasn't become a mainstay necessarily, but they are definitely using it as an option once more. But it's one that I don't think they're going to end up sticking with. We're seeing quite a few players rotate over to the garage entryway now, or to the office entryway, excuse me. As they are going to work their way forward from here instead to actually take control of the basement, as that's where the droning work is being done for players like Necrox and Canadian to now move through these halls and get them into the main lobby to start working down the stairs.
It's about a minute 15 has been expended by the offense with nothing really to show for it. They do have control of the west side as they are setting their sights, trying to get a couple of these roamers out of NORA-RENGO. They're currently inside of the meeting hall. Plenty of reinforcements dedicated here as well, and this is a traditional spot that is held by the defense on this map. No real other roam presence anywhere else. And NORA-RENGO really had some trouble with this site yesterday, specifically just due to the fact that it is pretty easy to shut down if you do open up the pantry and just hold a sight line. That does not allow them to rotate. They are going to have to try and take that gunfight inside of kitchen if that is opened up by Evil Geniuses. But NBK will start things off right for Evil Geniuses, at least this time around, as Mario will lose that gunfight.
So, with NORA-RENGO finally losing a player earlier on in the round, EG have an opportunity opened up for them, but can still very easily look at that being changed up later on in the round if EG run into that same issue that they've been dealing with prior.
All set.
It's not looking like that's the case. They have solid control the entire primary side of the house, and at this point are now just looking for basement access so they can start their push. Again, though, the issue is going to be time. They play such a passive attacking side here that they're not leaving themselves an adequate enough time to actually get onto the site, let alone properly drone this out. A great nade, however, is found onto Papilia. They are going to try to throw a Nitro Cell up on top for revenge. However, that will not find impact. A second grenade is used against Papilia to fully knock him out. Ramu in a great position, however, finds the counter as he's able to move in and take out Canadian as well. Time again getting incredibly low at 10 seconds left. Young is in position. They don't even realize it in the smoke. No, they do get the hard ping onto it. That's going to stop the Raisel. Picks up the kill, but Geo and Necrox finding kills. Ramu again, though, an absolute monster, but it will not matter. He's shut out by Necrox, and Evil Geniuses just barely scraped through with a first round for themselves.
Did I just see Canadian doing the trance dance? I believe I did. I thought so, just for a second. I looked over at the opposite screen just at the last second there. It might have happened, might have not, might have been him just shaking a hand warmer, but if he did, That's fantastic. NORA-RENGO, though, I know for a fact this will not faze them at all. They're just a happy-go-lucky team. Oh man, I love these guys so much. They're so fantastic.
You guys are going to have a chance to see them as well. If they end up coming out on top of this matchup, they'll have earned their place in the playoff slot, which is going to begin on Friday, where we'll finally have our crowd joining us for the main event and the start of the quarterfinals. That's going to be beginning on Friday. As a reminder, we still have our final group matches that are going to be taking place tomorrow as well. That'll decide the other 4 teams that'll be making it out of their respective groups and into the playoff bracket. Action will all begin on Friday morning.
Yeah, luckily we do get Thursday off, which would be nice. Get a little bit of shut-eye so that not all of the main casters' voices are dead. It's nice. But 3-1 currently. In favor of NORA-RENGO on Evil Genius's pick. Once again, we're map swapping here. We haven't seen it yet. Have not seen it yet so far this this invitational at least. So we have seen people with 2-0s, where they obviously take the opponent's map as well as their own. But we haven't seen anything else besides that. So this might be the first time that we're going to see this here, Blue.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Take a look once
Objective
again.
is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
See how NORA-RENGO's take, or hold I should say, on the top site will work out into their favor for the guys on EG. Back onto the board once again for themselves. And once more, not necessarily going for any fast action here, taking it slow, as NORA-RENGO is given plenty of time to set up their utility, as well as a little bit of deconstruction on the site here to make the late round a little bit easier for them to play off of. No surprises though from EG. Once again, the swift T2 take from Canadian. No pressure against that. He'll swing right downstairs, knock out the camera. It was on at that moment, which means he probably still got spotted. And NORA-RENGO now have the intel that tower take has occurred, like we've seen in previous rounds.
Evil Geniuses switching up the take just a little bit from what they priorly did. They were using the big tower for their downstairs take as well as their upstairs take, but they switched things up the last round, taking from the west for downstairs. And they will go back to the big tower for their upstairs take. This Canadian will open up highway window and break out the north side windows for kids' dorms. So basically, pretty straightforward thing so far, as they do have their eyes set on the master closet.
Again, already down to 1 minute and 35 seconds. No kills found by EG just yet. Mainly only getting control of the top floor so far, but unable to push themselves over towards the kids' dorms just as of yet, where the sites are actually located. They'll start to move their way in through walk-in first off, now that they've been able to breach through the wall into the mini dorms. But not everyone's going to be sticking together here. NVK specifically going to be walking back to the outside to watch out for a lurk, and as well to continue droning to figure out where exactly this setup from NORA-RENGO is going to be located. Very cautious, in fact, of a late lurk. Almost gets caught out by a player pushing into the lobby. He, in fact, cancels that breaching charge as a result of hearing the steps from down the hall, as we've got players like Mario trying to push in and pinch onto NORA-RENGO, but so far, it's a bit of a nervous play. Canadian is able to find Waka at the start, and Raisel immediately trades that back, taking out Canadian.
The coattails of Raisel running up white stairs. Will be a couple bullets, but none of them are going to make any contact. Necrox, though, will find Ramu in the process. And NVK going to find one of his own. Mario will find Young as well. And Raisel will yet find another NVK going to go down to the bottom of white stairs, but it's all left up to Raisel, as Necrox will have the diffuser. He will begin to plant default spot over on the generator site. Raisel tries to commit himself to the opposite side over by double window. Nothing's really going to come of that, as Necrox will actually rotate back in towards the closet. Raisel has 2 gunfights to win, though. He does leisurely walk his way up white stairs, and he's going to get found by Necrox in a victory for Evil Geniuses.
The small dorms wall already opened, meaning Necrox has a perfect initiative to be able to take down that last member alive for NORA-RENGO. Knocks him out of the closet. EG continue to roll back into the matchup as a result of that. Their second round just being claimed, and they'll look to tie it up now at 3-3, going on to the site of NORA-RENGO's choice, which will be back to the basement.
Okay. was going to say, we were talking about Fuse earlier, and he almost got played there for a second.
Oh, did someone pick him?
Everyone keeps just flashing these Russian operators. Just play them, dang it. Come on, man.
Got a bit of Capcan today, at least.
Yeah, we've seen Capcan today.
We've seen 2 or 3 Capcan picks, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Capcan's an operator that makes you second guess on if you're safe to go through a door or not. He's a good time waste in the right circumstance. If he gets played too often, then like, oh, whatever. You're just going to look at every door frame. It's fine. But he's more of a surprising op. He's a 6-pick operator, more or less. Kind of like Frost.
Very much the case, and we saw how effective the Frost was previously. Didn't really end up necessarily defining the win, but sped it up a little bit. That final kill against Geo when it was brought up on the tower a few rounds back as NORA-RENGO ran the gauntlet between all 3 of the sites and were able to win them consecutively in a row. Evil Genius is looking to do very much the same thing, obviously, with some repeated sites in the mixes. They will look to take control of the basement yet again. The closing round of their attacking half here. Lineup is going to look pretty similar to what we have seen in the past, just again seeing some operators switched around amongst the individual players. I think we were seeing in just the last matchup actually from G2 as well. EG seems to be doing it, although not to the degree that we see from a team like G2.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Now, the basement site, a place you can get very creative with Papilia's current utility, which is going to be Evil Eyes. Also, you guys saw Ramu currently is 11-2 for NORA-RENGO. He did not have too hot of games yesterday. He was pretty consistent across the board, but nothing absolutely insane, as we have seen him in prior matches. The main outlier for yesterday was Waka. That man was just fragging his absolute brains out. He was just doing some of the most delirious things I've ever seen in my life. Things I would never think in my life would work ever. Like peeking out with an MPX on Valkyrie at like 200 yards and clicking 2 heads. Like that's not supposed to happen, but he did it. So again, some of the most mechanically skilled players in the world are on this NORA-RENGO roster, as told to us from other pros. This isn't a personal opinion. This is other pros telling us about NORA-RENGO.
Well, again, in the early round, we're not going to see a whole lot of direct action being taken by EG just yet. They take a very slow approach and a very drone-focused approach to the early round here, wanting to make sure, again, that they are not cut down in the early round by these aggressive pushes that we have been seeing from NORA-RENGO that have been quite successful. The Canadian commits to his droning. They did have a hard ping onto someone just through that drone hole. He was hoping a foot might have been revealed and he could do some chip damage too, but no. It's long gone, it's fallen back already, that player. He's probably started to move pretty safely towards the basement site, given the limited amount of time left. Actually, moving pretty quickly over there towards the stairs themselves, so much so Waka and Raisel pretty much had to get ready for a push. However, they are going to pop open the hatch. First off, that'll be done, of course, by Young and the Hibana. And with the avenue now open, they can start to pinch down the stairs and the vent, with Geo leading the charge on the Ash.
Geo going to commit one of his breaching charges to getting rid of the Evil Eye, which is going to allow them to plant behind the laundry machine. NORA-RENGO is literally within just like a 20-foot box. Like they're all locked down inside a supply room. And this could spell disaster for them. All it's going to take is one initial frag release to get things popped off here. And Nadian might have the answer unless Waka's got an ADS there. And no, there will be no ADS, and it's always kind of comical when a Jaeger dies to a frag grenade, but it's definitely not going to be helpful for NORA-RENGO. As Ramu will take some damage. Young's going to start the plant. Geo, as well as Canadian, will begin to get aggressive on the backside. He's actually defending himself, and he actually knives his friend, but Racel's going to be able to find 2 that's going to be able to stop the diffuser. As everyone and their brother on Evil Geniuses will toss themselves downstairs, they will end up with an Evil Geniuses victory in a quite comical way, as Canadian will actually go down during that gunfight.
Another very crazy fight that we ended up having happen in the basement there too, with trades going all over the place. That was really the only complaint I can make. So when we take a look at fundamental issues that were popping up with NORA's defense, that they were constantly allowing such easy hatch access for EG, and it was just causing so much chaos when the take happened. They weren't able to control themselves. They weren't able to really compose the situation, and probably comms were a nightmare as well, just because of how much was happening at once. They need to try and look for a better way to control those hatches in the future when they have those defensive rounds. But obviously they don't need to worry about that anymore now that we've switched sides and started the second half. It's NORA-RENGO on the attack now. Both teams needing 4 rounds to close out, and for EG, that closeout will mean a spot in the playoffs.
Crazy 6-pick coming out here from Geo, as we're going to 6-pick the Pulse into the Pulse. Definitely needed, as you can see. And honestly, sometimes The thing is here is when 6-pick first came out, there's actually some people speculating, well, you know, maybe that is a good idea. You know, you use a 6-pick to just switch back to your same operator. No, it's not a good idea because the other team can't see who's 6-picking.
Yeah.
So it's literally just kind of a waste of a 6-pick, but I mean, they decided that they needed the Pulse, and honestly, they really do. This is a map that thrives really well with Pulse. Pulse, once again, having a cardiac sensor that can see people's heartbeats through wall almost instantaneously. It has a wave effect that goes from right to left across his little screen on his cardiac sensor and allows you, once again, to see the heartbeats of your enemies, allowing you to relay almost instantaneous information to the other players. And Gio, being the team captain of Evil Geniuses, will definitely make good use of that.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Well, the main IGL, excuse me. Canadian. Yeah.
So more than likely, we're going to see Gio play this downstairs or somewhere on the first floor. It looks like he's choosing to take a first floor route now. In fact, nearly managed to take out Mario at the beginning of this round by finding some early damage onto him, but he's able to dodge away from that one. In fact, it looks like Gio took a little bit on return too, but not nearly as much as Mario, as he loses just under 25% of his HP. And oh, there we go, we're back. Sorry about that. Mario is now going to rappel up to the second floor here and look to get in position for the take on that second floor dorm site. And well, Rengo going to start things off incredibly well for themselves. Papilio, directly on the inside of the master bedroom, moves in to take out NVK. Very early on in the round, too, which is quite obviously going to limit the effectiveness that any remaining goo mines will have.
No longer will MVK be able to tell which ones went off either, which is kind of a sad day for him, as he makes an early exit in round number 7. But NORA-RENGO is set up to take this one at least, as sides just got switched, ladies and gentlemen. NORA-RENGO now on the offense, and the defense brought up by Evil Geniuses, as we're going to see Gio downstairs as the Pulse that we discussed earlier. And this is a traditional spot for him to be played, just due to the fact that you can quickly rotate over into Classroom and try and defend that as much as possible with that Nitro Cell, being able to kill anyone trying to put down the Thermite charge or even some Havana pellets if they step inside. So, as we are just halfway through the game, Waka will put his sights on White Stairs.
This time, once again, continues to dwindle down. Now it is NORA-RENGO. It will run into the issue of a low time to execute. They do not speed things up. We've seen time and time again how dangerous these can be. But it seems as though they may not be left with much of a choice. They do not speed their execute up. They just had trouble getting up to the second floor. Young, in the meanwhile, is going to try to set the Nitro Cell down, but it will get taken out. Not only that, but he'll be overwhelmed with flashbangs. Waka will be the one to take him down. You still do have a mirror window sitting on the wall next to that, however, so they've got to be careful of that as Necrox, and now Canadian pickup kills Mario in for the response along with Ramu. Now Canadian making a wrap back around as the last man standing in 1v3. He does have Diffuser on the ground. Smoke will stop that, but he's still able to spam through. Takes out Papilia, puts it down to a 1v2. 30 seconds left. This time, however, the Diffuser escapes. It's picked up, and they have a crossfire going against Canadian. He makes the push regardless. Wraps and tries to go over the knife, but Mario returns the favor on his own regard and ends the round in NORA-RENGO's favor.
Canadian will be a little bit blinded. Tries to use that 6 inches of cold steel, as Thatcher loves to talk about, but will be met with the knife of the opponent, as they will lose yet another round. Very close-knit game here on Oregon. A lot closer than our consulate match.
Certainly the case, and NORA-RENGO certainly bringing the fight to the table, especially at the start of this game. Certainly petered off a little bit in the later portion of the initial half. They've come back strong in the starting round of their attack to take the lead once again. On their way to victory here for map number 2. So using generally the same operator lineup here for themselves as they get ready to attempt a basement push with, again, EG choosing to just move along on their sites instead of sticking with that second floor site again.
They've been pretty good on their site rotations so far throughout this match. Ramu is still coming up big, 12-3 currently. Excuse me. As things have been pretty much even across Evil Geniuses. The main outlier being Canadian right now. 9-6 with 4 assists. Necrox following him up with 7, 4, and 4. So, as we'll be hopping straight into this basement defense. Main outlier here for me is going to be Mute, getting picked up by Canadian. Again, we haven't seen him too often. We are actually seeing him a lot more now, as pick rate used to be almost abysmal. but ever since he did gain access to the SMG-11 and shotgun, even though Canadian isn't running it, his pick rate has went up exponentially. The main use of that mute is going to be able to stop drones as well as utility. That you guys can see on the middle of that island is one of his mute jammers, which will actually prevent the hatch from being opened.
Serving as an alternative option in a lot of ways to Bandit, or even a supplementary option to Bandit should you see him getting banned out or something like that in a lot of ways. Carries through and does a lot of the same stuff as a result. You can see him played out a decent amount in recent history due to the buff of adding those additional guns, as you had mentioned already. In fact, Mute specifically, Canadian this is going to be pushed all the way up the red hall. It seems like they have some type of read on NORA. It seems like they're going to go down the tunnel. So they've got 3 players committed to defending that currently on EG's side of things. See if it stays that way. Though, as I highly doubt it. And indeed, most have now moved away. Canadian still with the hard hold, as well Geo supporting it from further down inside of red hall.
Again, I really do like this mute pick just due to the fact that, as we saw yesterday and a little bit inside of Consulate, NORA-RENGO works very well with intelligence. If they can get the intel on where someone is, they're more than likely able to kill them. Evil Geniuses counteracted that quite well on Consulate, but they're not doing too good of a job of it here on their offensive, well, excuse me, their defensive rounds on, oh my goodness, their offensive rounds on Oregon. I don't know why I thought they switched sides back and forth, but
all good.
They are on defense. So, Papilia on Jackal inside of Big Tower, as they are motioning to take control of meaning. I think honestly the biggest thing that I see in the difference between NORA-RENGO's play from other places across the world is they do a lot of pre-firing, a ton. Not like regular pros where, you know, okay, we might pre-fire an angle somebody's at. They don't even have to know you're there. They will just pre-fire because they know if someone peeks, that's almost an instantaneous kill if you're the first one to shoot. Oh my goodness, what a well-placed Nitro Cell from Canadian on Mariu.
That will bring us down into another 4 versus 4 situation here. Waka and Papilia specifically going to still be stuck behind smoke setups. He's now thrown it himself. Problem is his teammates are also still stuck behind gas grenades. He's going to try to throw the Ash Charge in very quickly to open up a hole for his teammates to work through, but Ramu will find the next piece of impact, being able to knock NVK out of the fight. NORA looking stronger and stronger. Again, time will start to tick against their favor. Only 40 seconds left. The great push from Canadian up the top of the laundry stairs. Finds a pick against Ramu. And it looks like he's going to go even further with that to try and find more kills. In the meanwhile, Raisel going to be able to move in, attempt the plant. He cancels it though because of the toxic payment. In the meanwhile, Young cuts off his support. Waka is taken down. It's left down to Raisel, along with Papilia, who is still upstairs at this point. What is it, 2 versus 3? The scan will come in, will knock out the smoke, but we'll see Canadian over peak. Down the hatch, Raisel will pick up the kill against him, and now he'll feel safe to re-attempt the plant. However, Young going to be able to peek out against that. Papilia defending it. Diffuser will go onto the ground, and now the pressure's on EG to quickly retake into this. A 1-for-1 exchange brings us into 1v1, but it's Necrox to pick up both kills in a row, giving the round over to EG, and again, tying us up at 4-4.
What a kill from Necrox on the dock, ladies and gentlemen. Finding a couple of those frags with the ACOG. As they decided to go over that last round, see exactly what the issue was, but they were able to find that one no matter what. Things tied up once again here on Oregon. You guys can see it in the eyes of Evil Geniuses as you guys saw them just a couple seconds ago. They do not want this to go the full distance. They want to take this now so they can go home, get some rest, do some VOD review, and more importantly, get some food.
Very, very true indeed. So, back up to the kids' dorms and the main dorms once again here on Oregon, as players from Evil Geniuses look to carry on their defense with a little bit more success, a little bit more of a decisive win than we've seen in previous rounds, as NORA-RENGO are certainly once again putting up the fight, and at the very minimum, pressuring them to the very minute of these rounds, the very last minute of these rounds.
You want to talk about aggression? Ooh. You want to talk about aggression? Look at the offensive lineup here by NORA-RENGO. Buck, Habana, Capitao, Zofia, Jackal. You're not safe. You just are not safe. An exponential amount of soft destruction in the hands of Waka with that skeleton key. Raisel will handle your hard destruction, while Mariu will be able to use that Capitao bolt, try and melt anybody from any angle, as well as you have Ramu over on the Zofia, and then finally rounding out Papilia on the Jackal. Expect this to be pretty high velocity round coming through right now. We're gonna see, they might surprise me and take this slow, but this lineup right here just looks like it breeds speed.
Well, we're certainly going to find out from NORA-RENGO. Like I said in previous rounds, the timing of their executes has often been an issue. Similar to EG, though, similarly to a lot of our teams where they are running the clock down to 30 or 20 seconds or less, so Burger lineup might be in the name of trying to speed that up a little bit, try to get into the site with at least a minute or more left on the clock, if at all possible, of course. So here we go. Quick little rappel up for quite a few of their players, as they're already going to be in position to take control of the main bedroom and then walk through to walk in. It's been left open, though, so it'll prove slightly dangerous for them, in addition to, of course, the mirror window being just on the inside, or outside, I guess I should say, of this master bedroom.
Now, again, this is not a strat that is brought out too often. The main crux of it is going to be Armory. As you can see, we have a gentleman inside of there, and it's going to be NVK playing inside as Jaeger. As well as we do have Canadian on the mirror window. Basically, the setup right here, it makes it to where you can gain some vision on the main stairs. So MVK also has a chance to... Hold on 1 second, I'll finish that thought. And the nade's actually not going to make enough contact. Waka throws it too late into the timer. He's going to go again, but this one won't make any contact either, as both of his frag grenades will be out, and he reverts to the skeleton key. Will he be able to get the kill? No. NVK will be able to rotate out, and that's going to be a lot of time wasted, as well as a lot of utility used by that offender. But to finish my thought real quick, the only counters to that is soft destruction from underneath with Waka, as well as taking over Armory, in which you can just shoot the man directly off the Mira, or you can take over satellite window. Those are really going to be your three main ways of getting rid of that Mira inside of the hallway off of Master.
Ultimately, though, a big waste of time right there for Waka, as he does quite literally 0 damage to NVK and only forces a reposition. Got the scan coming in. It's going to be against the Bandit, so I don't believe it's going to catch him off-site too heavily. No, actually, it does manage to catch him roaming around downstairs, so someone may be able to capitalize on that. But it looks like he's pretty quickly falling back into a safe position that he knows he can hold and just wait out the rest of these ticks, which will be expiring in just a few moments here. Time, again, though, becoming the enemy of NORA-RENGO. Canadian also picked up the first kill against them. They are finally forced to push down the primary hallway, getting into the dorms here. Canadian, in the meanwhile, still waiting for his opportunity to find impact on the Bandit now that the scan has gone away. Ramu, of course, knows he's back here, so he's positioned himself inside of the classroom to watch for this push. But at the moment, will not get any opportunity. Flashes move in, the trades will start to move back and forth, but it's still a favor for EG at this point, as the time goes just under 30 seconds here. Ramu and Papilia going to be under pressure in a moment. Geo able to pick up the opening frag of the final fight against Papilia to take him down and leave Nora with only Mario along with Ramu to try and pick up this round. Mario, nice spray indeed. Takes him out entirely, Geo this is. No confirmation on the kill, and the trade comes in immediately from NVK to take him down. It's finished off by NVK as well, with Evil Geniuses picking up yet another round and pushing ahead at 5-4.
What a round there by Evil Geniuses. A lot of adjustments come out, and Canadian actually being very successful on the little bit of a roam that he had at the bottom of White Stairs. I definitely think the biggest thing was that Jackal track that came out almost got him in a little bit of trouble inside of a kitchen, but he was actually able to maintain his life with some very, very patient play. Now, biggest thing is we now have a tactical timeout by NORA-RENGO, and that is going to be 2 tactical timeouts in 1 map. NORA-RENGO going to take it now. Try and see if they can make an adjustment, as EG is so close to just reaching punching distance to ending this and punching their ticket to the main stage.
Not really much of a ticket. It's right down the street.
Why did you have to take that away from me? Why did you do that?
Just
look here, double breast. All right.
Just abandoning the logical fallacy here. So.
They don't know that. Shh. Only well, actually, nobody knows that because they don't know where this place is. So.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of Canada for all you guys know. It's cold. It's probably, we're actually having this in Flynn's home. That's where we're having this.
We're in Vancouver.
Yeah. Eh?
I think it would be warmer in Vancouver.
It probably is warmer in Vancouver.
Yeah, okay.
We're getting confirmation by the Canadian next to us. Yes, it is warmer in Vancouver. So there you go. In case you guys didn't know.
However, again, that tactical timeout here for NORA-RENGO should be expiring momentarily, as they'll be forced back into it. They've come so close, but again, it is that final push in the site that has been the enemy of so many teams today that has once again become the problem here for NORA-RENGO on their attacking side. 6 picks going to be used by both teams, as As we see the Capitao actually getting swapped out for the first time in a while into a Ying, an operator that, I'm going to be honest, I've barely seen play on Ying so far, at least throughout the games that we've done.
Well, that's because you haven't casted one man in particular.
Who's that?
You haven't casted Hungry.
And defuse
Yeah.
bombs.
Probably.
Once you cast Hungry, you'll see Ying if they allow it to happen. I don't think they're going to allow it to happen after
Normally,
yesterday.
well, if I remember correctly, normally it gets target banned, right? when Hungry's in game.
For very good reason. There's a reason it gets target banned, because when you let it go through, you're gonna have a bad time. Well, we'll see if Mario is efficient with Ying, to say the least. I've never seen him play it, but as you guys saw from that tactical timeout, serious faces, no trance dances over on the side of NORA-RENGO, or excuse me, NORA-RENGO. But
10 seconds to insertion.
as we are about to round out this map either way, it's either we tie it at 5-5 or Evil Geniuses be almost close to making the walk up the street to the main stage.
Use a bomb.
Very much the case indeed. It's going to be a big focus on T3 for Canadian as they've been forced into the double tower sites now. And you can see this setup. I believe you mentioned it to me yesterday that the shield position makes it so that is impossible to take this player out on the rappel as long as he stays in a particular spot. It'll also open up a little bit of an avenue just below those ADSs. Again, instead of any grenades do end up moving in through there successfully, somehow they will end up just falling right through and not impacting him. Also gives him, of course, a little bit of vision to work off of if he wants to peek down to T2.
I actually got mentioned something yesterday about that. I'm asking Stokes, why do you even know that? And the main reason why I know that is because I've actually done it. Like, I was like, how do you defend T3 when you're trying to do an extended hold, trying to hold tower? Well, you put a deployable shield up, you dedicate all of your ADSs up there to where you can't get naded out unless they really want you dead. And you make it to where they can't shoot you from the opposite window. And that's exactly what Evil Geniuses is doing right there with the deployable shield. As you can see, Ramu is trying to catch the angle right now. And what do you know, ladies and gentlemen? He sits too far back in order to do anything. And I actually think they have the ADS position specifically, as well as Mario has now been relieved of duty, to say the least.
Yeah, so no Ying play this time around as it is knocked out of the round incredibly early on. Still looking at the most of NORA-RENGO, once again trying to go for a pretty direct play onto these windows. As you have mentioned, though, they're going to have quite a rough time doing that, especially if they're looking to clear out T3 from this avenue. That's because of the difficulty of knocking that player outside of that deployable shield where he has a nearly perfect position to wait out.
Well, I think the main thing here for NORA-RENGO is the fact that a lot of this push here laid on the back of Mario and that Ying. If he's able to use those Kandals appropriately, this can open up this entire site. Open up all of it. But he's going to go down extremely early, and you can see that NORA-RENGO is trying to pick up the pieces right now and figure out really what they want to do. And this has been the effect of the tower hold for a lot of offensive teams. They take a long time to understand exactly what they want to do as a team, and by the time they finally make their decision, it's too little, too late.
Now, to be fair, they still see some kills picked up, actually both by NORA-RENGO. Evil Genius is getting incredibly aggressive, seemingly out of nowhere, leading to the elimination of both Necrox and Canadian within just a few seconds of each other. The trade comes back in, however, from Geo, able to take out Papilia. A moment afterwards, brings us back into an even kill 3v3 between the two teams. Geo, of course, still looking down in the basement to see if he can find out any of the members, but a little bit too far away to get scammed by the Pulse, tries to cross into the open, returns about 50 of the HP that he also lost on his own body there. Overall, we'll just force Waka away. As time is low, they have to force themselves in. We'll see the stuns go out. The attempt at a forced plant. NBK doesn't actually seem to realize it, but there we go. The C4 moving in, a swift cleanup for AG, and they will push themselves up to 6. One more round away from closing this one down in a 2-0 fashion, sending NORA-RENGO to the lower bracket and sending themselves to the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, Evil Geniuses is one round away from walking up the street to the main stage. One round away. It only takes one. They will be able to shut this out 2-0 on map count. Very strong showing by them on Consulate. And after that tactical timeout, very strong showing on Oregon. Whereas the likes of NORA-RENGO have only been able to pick up one round since the adjustment of Evil Geniuses. Massive comeback from them, especially on this map, to come down from a 3-0 deficit to start.
The Ying going to be completely abandoned here, again, probably because of the shift away from the tower and back over towards the basement where they feel the Capitao will be more useful, so that will come back into the fold for what very well could be the final round if we don't see NORA-RENGO. picking up the pace right here. Quick reminder, folks, again, this is still upper bracket matches, so no elimination for either of these teams. More notably, of course, the loser. It's just the winner will get a prize. Moving on, the loser of this one goes down into the lower bracket for the final group matchup tomorrow afternoon.
Apparently, Waka's having a little bit of an issue with his computer. Let's see if there's any time left in order to do that. It is going to be a call with the admin, not us. So we'll see if that is going to
10 seconds to
continue
insertion.
on. But as we are looking at the defensive setup by the offense here,
5 seconds left before insertion.
it has more or less been set up. Gio will rotate his way back to site. Ramu
Moving out to locate a
lays it
bomb
on top of
and
things. And actually, yes, we are going to have it confirmed right there. It is going to be a rehost between these two teams, NORA-RENGO and Evil Geniuses. So we are just going to be waiting around for just 1 second, ladies and gents. But what we could see so far from that defensive setup by Evil Geniuses was a little bit more of the same. They're going to be holding upstairs, and more likely, they're probably going to be going to a different site just due to the fact of they already saw that entire setup. So they're more than likely going to try and probably go back to kids' dorms or something along those lines. Actually, I think kids' dorms is currently closed down still. I think it's still locked because they won all 3 of those in a row. I think the first, yeah, their first round was the one that they won.
They can only either go there or kitchen, I think, is the only 2 options that they have right now.
So they're going back downstairs.
Obviously, they're not going to go kitchen.
No. Well, we said that. Flynn and I said that yesterday, and they won it. They won it. You're not supposed to win kitchen. It's one of the easiest sites to attack in the whole game. You just take small tower, and the defense won. It's like, okay, all right. Well, so they are getting things set up over on the side of NORA-RENGO, trying to get that little bit of an error fixed. This is a time that the coaches can talk to their team as well, and that's going to be an apparent factor this next round, as you guys are more than likely going to see a couple of adjustments. We are getting the lobby filled right now. NORA-RENGO just now filing in, as this Oregon map has been quite a heater so far.
Yeah, really a bit of a saving grace for NORA-RENGO, to be honest. As you were mentioning, it does give another opportunity for the coach to chime in, and I feel like that guidance is needed, as we're still seeing, I mean, in general, the same approach to a lot of these rounds. I don't know about if you disagree with this, but I haven't really noticed much of a change with the strategy at all from NORA-RENGO, and just going for a very straightforward take most of the time, and oftentimes not really having a choice to run the clock down to a very low timer and forced into like a 30-second or less execute. That's the story on almost every single round. They try to play slow, they try to drone things out and just slowly take map control, but they either never able to get enough map control and end up getting tripped up by a roamer on EG, or obviously they just end up forcing themselves into a site with not enough time left, and EG's site defenders are able to rip them up from that point.
Well, I think the main thing is right now is NORA-RENGO, is very good in chaos, and Evil Geniuses really isn't providing that. They're more of a measure twice, cut once, or controlled chaos, depending on really how they're feeling that day and the likes of them. But it doesn't really feed into what NORA-RENGO's usual game plan is. That's why they did so well against Penta yesterday. Penta is a team that is focused more or less on chaos, especially hungry, as you guys, I'm sure, saw that clip of that man going absolutely wild with Ying in that 6-second ace.
Certainly the case. Unfortunately, we have not seen NORA-RENGO step up to the plate enough to be able to close down this matchup or bring them back into the fold too heavily to where they can maintain the lead and send this to a 3rd and final map. We do now have all 10 players reconnected to the game, so we're just waiting for the administrator to start it, and then we will be good to resume the matchup. Score will be the same. We'll see in a moment if we are going to end up with that same site or if BG will feel themselves willing to take a bit of a risk and go towards the kitchen as their potential final site choice.
Well, I feel this might be appropriate this time. I think that we should do the NORA-RENGO dance challenge. I think it's time. You want to start? You want to start with the square? Or you want to do the antlers? It's up to you.
I'm doing this part.
All right, let's go.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. There we go. We're feeling it. All right. So that matchup, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be starting in just a couple. We had to get it out there, right? Everyone's doing it. Pengu did it on Twitter. We're doing it on stream. I don't know what that is, but were they doing that too?
Yeah, they were doing this.
We're doing this too. I didn't even see that. I only saw this thing.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta do this and then do the elevator. That's what you gotta do.
I'm about to bust it out of the club, man. They're not gonna know what hit him.
Gotta bust down, Tatiana. That's it. We're bringing out every meme. Literally every meme that we found.
So once again, folks, if you are just joining us, we want to welcome you back once more to the 6th Invitational. We are currently in the midst of a rehost. We are just waiting for these players to get final checks and final ready-ups to jump back into the game, which is currently, I think, 6-4, right, is where we're at?
Yes,
yes,
correct.
6-4 in the favor of Evil Geniuses, who are now on map and match point. What's on the line? Well, it's a spot in the playoffs, which will be starting on Friday. So not only do you not have to come back tomorrow, but you also still get Thursday off. 48 hours to prepare yourself for your quarterfinal on Friday, and of course plenty of time to watch the matches that you may have missed throughout the past 2 days, including today, and as well check out who your potential opponent may be on the matchups that'll be going on tomorrow.
That is going to be a huge key factor to winning this matchup for Evil Geniuses. You're going to be able to do VOD review as well as watch the live matches tomorrow to really see what other teams are trying to do. Because remember, tomorrow for every single team, it's do or die. If you lose, you go home. Start the buses. That's really it.
And once again, guys, NORA-RENGO, as we've been watching their attacking side evolve here. Unfortunately, we haven't seen as well the best use of utility, and that oftentimes comes down to the lack of time that they have on the execute itself, as we're seeing a lot of sub-30-second pushes into the site, meaning that they either just don't have operators with smokes that they would normally be able to use to push in, or they don't have time to set that up for themselves and often just have to end up running into the site. So running into that issue throughout multiple rounds and allowing for EG to shut it down. And as you mentioned too, a lack of chaos that EG is not creating as they're playing a very structured defense here so far, not giving the opportunities that NORA-RENGO need to cause chaos, and of course the confusion that would allow them to sneak into the site, either close out the round or at least get that diffuser onto the ground.
The main thing right now for NORA-RENGO is that they need to try and create their own chaos. That's going to be the biggest deal. They need to try and make the aggressive plays happen and try and play off of each other just a little bit more. The main thing with that is that they have to play more together. You see a lot of people going off on their own and trying to win out these big fights. You can't do that against Evil Geniuses. You're feeding into exactly what they want. That's why Evil Geniuses has been allowed to come back into this game.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. It was NORA-RENGO who got themselves off to a good start here on Oregon, but unfortunately they have lost it, and it is now EG running yet another comeback.
Yeah, and the biggest things to key point out, ladies and gentlemen, about once we get the game reset and back on your guys' screen is you will see the exact same operator choices come out, as well as the exact same site. So they have to maintain structure on what they did the last time. It doesn't have to mean they have to set up the site the exact same. It just means that they have to have the same operators. As you will see the 6 pick come out for that mute on Canadian.
Not only is this rehost given an opportunity for the coaches to chime in, of course, but it's an opportunity for the players to cool off for a second. I think that necessarily favors NORA-RENGO a little bit more than EG, considering EG is teed it up for a good reason, right? They've been on a bit of a hot streak here now, and they're about to qualify for the playoffs once again. So they'd be feeling it. It definitely hurt them a little bit to have to go through that rehost. Meanwhile, for NORA-RENGO, obviously, if there's any frustrations in the minds of those players, gave them a good 5 minutes or so to clear that out, come into this game fresh once again.
Sometimes you just got to let your frustrations out there dance. It's really what NORA-RENGO, that's their
engagement, and the mirror window giving you advanced warning on whatever push will come your way.
And here's the main thing. They have 2 operators downstairs dedicated to construction, as well as Harry Potter, where Young is playing at the bottom of the stairs. M590 on Young will absolutely eliminate anybody trying to run down that staircase. They are basically inside of a kill box right now, and they don't even know it. If they try to rotate their meeting, they're going to get shredded. They have to make an adjustment soon and try and get some information. But Canadian is not letting it slide, as some of the concussions are going to come through. Canadian is actually going to fight against Mobilia. Young's going to find one of himself, but Ramu going to find Canadian, as that will be a pretty even trade. It's going to be traded out pretty quickly, as Harry Potter has not been discovered just yet. Young's going to take a couple shots, as he is recognizing out that there is someone in Red Hall now. Mario, over on the other end of things, will find Necrox, as this fight has become all of a sudden even. And Mario's all the way inside of sight, inside of the back of B right now, as things are starting to really ramp up. Only 30 seconds left on the clock. The diffuser is on Habana, as things are going to begin to slow down as soon as I get overly excited for no reason.
The meeting room hatch again, still open to the hallway here, providing an opportunity for NVK to do some serious damage. Hard picks coming in as well. They have camera intel, but it won't seem to matter too much. 2 more kills coming in from NORA. It's all going to fall to NVK here. 2 of the members of NORA are down, however. So Mario, with low time, has to try and go for the plant. The spam is not going to be able to connect on to him. The withstand comes up, brings Ramu up, but he goes right back down, goes for the second kill as well. Won't be able to find it just yet. Back into the corner, actually taking an early reload on the Alda here. Still had 35 shots in it, but he goes back up to 81. Finishes off the Hibana, looking for the last player alive. Has him low, but he's low himself. It's Mario that takes it instead. And NORA-RENGO to pick up the round.
Just got to dance through the pain, ladies and gentlemen. Got to dance through the pain. All serious faces, though, for NORA-RENGO, as they really took a moment to slow down there for a second. I thought they were going to continue with that aggression, and it's exactly what we talked about at that break. You have to make your own chaos if you're NORA-RENGO. They did exactly that, and they're going to walk away with yet another round. They are 1 round away from forcing this overtime onto Evil Geniuses, but the only bad thing is that Evil Geniuses now has access to the single site they have not lost yet. That's going to be Kids Dorms.
Kids Dorms is where we'll immediately go back to without even a thought or a hesitation on that. NORA-RENGO, however, have run the distance all the way up to 6-5, so it goes to the 12th round, the final round of regulation, to see if NORA-RENGO can bring it to OT and still stay alive in the series for a 3rd and final map. So a relatively similar operator lineup too to what they've used on this in the past. Canadian, of course, going to be bringing the Pulse back into the fold. We'll see a lot of action from him in the basement. The thing is, though, this should be expected at this point by NORA-RENGO, and we should expect more innovation, as you mentioned in the previous round. Because of the lack of change-up to their own strategy, they got read like a book, and Evil Geniuses set up a kill box which almost completely destroyed them. Unfortunately, it ended up going the other way, and regardless of that setup, NORA-RENGO was still able to make their way past them and eventually plant and clutch out the round.
Yeah, them forcing their point into construction is really what won them that, because what that did there is it isolated Young to Harry Potter. He could not move. He had to take gunfights to try and get out of that, and he ended up losing those. So that really just blew the entire site wide open for NORA-RENGO, as they ended up picking that round up. But enough discussing the last round, as we were definitely going to have an absolute heater for this last round of regulation. The main man you're going to want to be focusing on here, ladies and gentlemen, is Mario. Just due to the fact that he is on the Capital, and that is going to be the main counter to those Mirrors of Young, as he is going to repel his way up to T3. His big tower will be the take for the boys of NORA-RENGO.
So droning going in once again towards the tower, as it has still remained NORA-RENGO's favorite entry spot to get themselves into the building at minimum. Ramu will be first to the inside with a quick T2 swing in. The rest of the team will be following shortly behind with T3 as well. It's actually just noticing now it's only these 2 taking control here so far. They've got a 3rd on the outside. Everyone else is eventually going to end up grouping up here towards the tower and moving in towards it anyway. Obviously, the basement will not be the approach they need to move towards, but they'll have to try and sneak their way across attic instead, which has been the issue point for NORA-RENGO trying to win out the site. Thankfully, neither of the walls have been reinforced, so that part of the attack is going to be relatively easy, breaching your way through the attic and onto the site.
And with a victory on border, 7-3, Liquid will win 2-0 in their match on the B stream, as the last match of the day will be played between Lestream and Penta, and will be actually played over here, ladies and gentlemen. So stay tuned for that one after this EG NORA-RENGO matchup.
that will also be the lower bracket game for this group. So from this point forward, all games on this stream are going to be showing off the rest of Group D. We'll have the final game of Group D at the end of tomorrow. As a quick reminder, once again, we will not have our Bravo stream tomorrow. It'll all be on the main stream. And you're on that channel right now, so this is where you're going to want to come back to at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Papilia, a good start for him on this round. Knocks out the smoke as well. Meanwhile, Gio is unfortunately going to lose one of his team's mirrors in the process. Of Mario able to move himself into position with the Capitao and start sending out his asphyxiation bolts.
50 seconds left on the clock. And Gio, the very smart thing, is actually going to pop. Speaking of popping, Canadian's going to pop off. He's going to find two. It's going to be massively influential. Canadian showing up at just the right time with that notorious operator of his, Pulse, as Gio's actually going to be down inside. Apilia's down as well. Actually, he's going to be reset, ladies and gentlemen. 28 seconds left on the clock, and they're going to have to try and find a way to get on site quickly. Waka has very low HP right now. He's only about 2 bullets away from death, as well as Papilia. He's hit by the right weapon. Gio is actually still down, and I believe somebody's currently laying below, and yes, it's going to be NBK. He's going to down Ramu, and now everyone practically at 50 HP or lower for the defense. Only 5 seconds left to go. There is no time, and Young's gonna find Papilia, and that's gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. Evil Geniuses going to the main stage. The boys that bleed blue back at the Invitational main stage for the 3rd time in a row.
They've done it once again. Evil Geniuses will make their triumphant return to the playoff stage here at the 6th Invitational 2019. For NORA-RENGO, it's not over yet, but certainly an upsetting defeat for them, going 0-2. Definitely bringing it down to the wire, at least in regulation. But at the end of the day, EG will close it out without overtime here on map number 2 and end the series 2-0, securing their place in the playoffs alongside the 3 other teams that we have had qualify for it today, in the order of their groups as well, being Fnatic, Empire, G2, and now Evil G.